So we are at the end here of round number 9 in Axis and Allies 1942 second edition. U.S. here, they're building up their forces here of a navy again to threaten Japan, possibly invade the mainland. We had a big battle here with the Japanese and U.S. Navy. There's no naval units left. Japan has some bombers left at the end of this round. Japan still controls all of Asia. They just picked up India in the last round from the British, but over here in Europe, we see Germany is not doing so well. The Russians are ready now to advance on the Eastern Front against the Germans, and the British and the Americans have a lot of troops here ready to start to invade and work our way into Germany here. And as far as over here, the Atlantic, we're probably going to move these transports over here through the Panama Canal to go over to the western coast of the United States to assist in starting up to build up a fleet to invade the mainland of Japan. So this is what the IPCs look like at the end of round number 9. England is in the lead at 46, and then we have Japan at 41, US at 36, Russia at 26, and Germany is down to 18. So halfway through round number 10, we're gonna load everything up from England on the transports and everything there that England has in Europe, and we're gonna invade the mainland of Germany and see how this ends up. England is not able to conquer Germany. They just retreat their 3 tanks back to Western Europe so they don't lose their aircraft there in the battle. The US on their turn now will go in with their units they have there to try and weaken Germany more. Round 10, Japan, they did take over Persia here, put 3 more tanks in India, 3 infantry up in Manchuria, and more infantry on the mainland. And the US as a non-combat move at the end of their turn in round 10, they're just gonna move their Navy and transports down here. That'll put them in range to take over the Philippines in round 11, and they moved their bombers onto the Hawaiian Islands there. With 10 rounds down, we see how much IPCs each country has there with their poker chips. The US is going to move their transports over to the west coast to help contend with Japan in the Pacific. It's going to be up now to the Russians and the English to take Germany out. England and US, they weakened Germany, but they weren't able to fully take them out in round 10. And the Japanese down here, they still control India and they have tanks in Persia there. The Russians will have to contend with them there to prevent further spread there. And in the Pacific here, we see the US moved down here south towards the Solomons. They're in range to occupy the Philippines in the next round. The Japanese bombers do have range there to bomb that fleet if they decide to. And then the US over here, they just purchased an aircraft carrier fighter and some units there on the west coast to start building up an invasion force to contend with Japan. So that does it for round number 10. We move on to round number 11. Into round number 11, the Russians, in their turn, they did attack the Japanese tanks in Persia, but they didn't win the battle there. They did win the battle here against the Japanese there in that territory. So they advanced the rest of their troops and take over Poland. We now pick up into England's turn. Germany was just able to buy 4 infantry to put in there. Germany's at 12 now, 10 for the mainland of Germany, plus 2 here. No one ever went in there and bothered to take over those 2 countries for the Allies. So Germany is just at 12 IPCs now. We move on to England's turn now in round number 11. They'll move those transports over 1 sea zone, pick up those military units there, and then move over here and invade into Germany along with these units in Western Europe, and we'll see if this will be enough to take Germany out of the game. So England did have enough to take Germany out in round 11. That puts them now up to 57 IPCs as the clear leader in the game. With the money they had in the beginning of the round, they buy 3 more bombers and a fighter to go against Japan now. It's all against Japan now. And as far as what happens here, England gets all of Germany's IPCs now. So we'll take those over here and put them with that so we can see there. That's all the money that England has now. So this is the end of England's turn. We're still not officially at a victory here yet. You need, if you can either play total defeat where the Allies have to capture all the Axis cities, or you can play that they can just capture 9 and have a total of 9 cities in possession at the end of a round to declare a victory. So we see here with Japan having control of Calcutta, India, the Allies only have 8 victory cities. So if we can at the end of the round, if the US can take Manila in the Philippines, and that would be a victory of 9 victory cities to make this game an official Allied victory. So we'll play through here and see if that can happen. So Japan will decide to take their 3 bombers down here to the Solomon Island Sea Zone and attack the U.S. Naval fleet there. The submarines aren't going to be part of that battle because in the rule book, when attacking and defending, submarines cannot hit air units. So we'll go through this battle here. So this is the end of round number 11 here. The US, they're building up a navy there to go up against Japan here, with it being all against Japan. The bombers for the US didn't have enough range from Hawaii to hit the Philippines, so the US decided to take the Solomon Islands here and gear up for next round, possibly taking the Philippines. So this is what the rest of the board looks like here as we near our conclusion of this Axis and Allies 1942 second edition game. The 3 Japanese bombers do take out the 3 US destroyers, but the destroyers fire back in the battle and take out 2 bombers. The surviving bomber lands on the Caroline Islands. And as far as purchasing units, Japan purchases some naval units there, 2 cruisers and 1 destroyer. And down here they just put in infantry in India. So this is what the end of round 11 looks like. Here again, Germany is taken out of the game, and to declare it an official victory, the Allies just have to take 1 more victory city. We'll see if the US can take the Philippines in their turn here. Round 12 will end with the US attacking the Japanese naval fleet at the Philippines. So this is what the Pacific looks like at the end of round number 12. We'll move on to round number 13, where we should have an official end to the game as the Russians move their tanks from the Caucasus and Persia into India to defeat the Japanese and officially declare victory in this game. So we have an Allied 9 victory city in the beginning here of round 13. Russia takes out the Japanese to give India back to England. So this is what the victory city chart looks like. The Allies have 10 victory cities in control. Japan has only 3 left, so that gives us a victory here. And we see here, this is what the end of the game looks like here with an Allied victory. See, the US is strong down here in the South Pacific. And that's what Europe looks like there, as England and what was left of US tank there were flying towards Persia to help out to take over India. We see here England, just for the heck of it, with the money they had, they put an industrial complex in Egypt and down in South Africa. And the only piece to survive from the beginning of the game, I believe, is this British aircraft carrier. It started out here in India, and as I've mentioned before, it traveled up through the Suez Canal into the Mediterranean, and then helped be part of the fleet that helped to take out Germany. So that does it. This was a long game. This was my first Axis and Allies 1942 second edition game, and it went 13 rounds with victory going to the Allies. I hope you enjoyed all the videos, if anyone did look at all of them. So I think for my next project, I'm going to make an expanded handmade painted version of this game with just the Europe section of this game, make it a little larger so it's a little easier to play. It was a little cramped in there, especially at the beginning of the game, so we'll see how that turns out. And again, as you can see under this, I had my Axis and Allies original Europe game that I enlarged and hand painted. So I hope everyone enjoyed watching this, and that concludes this lengthy game.